Hi, I'm Fraser Douglas, the avid tent camper. In this video, I want to tell you about one of my favorite tent camping vacation destinations, the Alabama and Northwest Florida Gulf Coast. These Gulf beaches have been ranked by numerous experts as among the top 5 or top 10 most beautiful beaches in the entire world. These beaches are located 350 miles south of our home in Huntsville, Alabama. They extend 175 miles from Gulf Shores, Alabama on the west edge through Pensacola, Florida, Fort Walton Beach, Destin, Panama City Beach, Mexico Beach, and Port St. Joe. I first camped on these beaches 51 years ago, and since then have returned more than 50 times. I have returned to these beaches so many times because I love the cool, sugar white sand. I love swimming in the salty water, smelling the salty air, and feeling the refreshing summer breeze off of the Gulf. We enjoy hearing the waves lapping against the shore and walking along the beach. We also enjoy shopping in unique shops and eating in some of the finest seafood restaurants to be found anywhere. This area also features a wide variety of tourist attractions, concerts, and festivals. Since the water temperature never drops below 65 degrees, and the winter daytime highs can sometimes get up to 70 or 75 degrees, you can swim in the Gulf all year round. This photo was taken on December the 23rd, 1990. So let me introduce you now to 9 great camping destinations in this region. First of all, let's talk about Gulf State Park, located in Gulf Shores, Alabama. The park has 496 developed campsites that are open for tent campers as well as RV owners, plus 11 primitive sites. I first camped in this campground in the 1980s when there were plenty of shade trees and lots of buffer vegetation, but a couple of hurricanes in the early 2000s destroyed most of this vegetation, and today most sites are very open. The sites with the most shade are sites that are located back away from the lake. The campground has several very nice bathrooms and a swimming pool. The USS Alabama is located about 35 miles northwest of the park over near Mobile and is a very popular tourist attraction. The internationally famous Floribama Bar is located about 15 miles east of the park. It is very popular with tourists in the area. A second great camping destination in this area is Big Lagoon State Park. It is located about 20 miles east of Gulf Shores, just across the Florida state line. Although it's not located directly on the beach, it's just a short 3-mile drive to Perdido Key State Park that is located on the beach. The campground has 75 campsites that are available for both RV and tenters. The campground is located just west of Pensacola and all of the many tourist attractions in that city. A third great campground in this region is the Fort Pickens campground, located in the Gulf Islands National Seashore, which is a National Park Service property. This campground is located on Santa Rosa Island, just south of Pensacola. The campground has 200 campsites organized into 5 loops. Loop A is a standalone section that's located just a little ways away from the rest of the campground. Loops B, C, D, and E are all together. Loops B and D are designed for tents and have lots of shade trees but no electricity, while Loop C and E have electricity but very little shade. I started camping in this campground in the 1980s, and it quickly became one of my favorite camping destinations, partly because of the low camping fees. Like Gulf State Park, most of the vegetation in this park was destroyed by hurricanes during the early 2000s. But you can still find a few sites with shade. This was our campsite one year, and this was our campsite another year. The park has a nice store where you can buy camping supplies and basic food items, beautiful beaches that are within walking distance of the campground, historic Fort Pickens that was built during the Civil War and used for several years by the United States government. One of our favorite restaurants, Peg Leg Pete's, is located just outside of the entrance of the park. Whenever we camp in the Pensacola area, we always go to Joe Patty's Seafood Market and buy fresh seafood to eat, and we frequently go to the Naval Air Museum. Our favorite campground in this area is Henderson Beach State Park. It is located in Destin, right across the street from the Walmart. The park has 60 extra-large gravel surface campsites that are organized into two sections. The only problem with this campground is that it is extremely popular with RVers, and all the sites get filled all week long, as much as 7 or 8 months in advance. It has a nice boardwalk that extends from the campground all the way out to the beaches, and within just a very short distance from the park entrance, you'll find many great restaurants, unique shops, and a Walmart, plus several popular tourist attractions. The Fred Gannon Rocky Bayou State Park became one of my favorite tent camping vacation destinations back in the 1980s when I lived in South Alabama, just 45 miles north of this park. It is located about 20 miles north of Destin across the Choctawhatchee Bay near Valparaiso. A new bridge across the bay that connects the northern shore with Destin makes it very easy to get to the Gulf beaches. The campground has 42 sites organized into one large loop. Most of the sites have a nice water view. The Topsail Hill Preserve State Park is a relatively new park that Ava and I have never visited, but we have reserved a campsite for a full week this coming April 2018. This park is located about 20 miles east of Destin between Miramar Beach and Laguna Beach. The park is a luxury resort with 156 RV sites and 22 walk-in tent sites. This campground features many extra amenities, including a swimming pool and a tram that will take campers out to the beach. Grayton Beach State Park has a relatively small campground in a relatively uncrowded area along this beachfront. Its beaches are claimed to be among the most pristine of the Florida Panhandle. The park is located just a few miles west of Laguna Beach. It has 49 sites, most of which are organized into a large loop. All of these sites have water and electricity. I first camped in St. Andrews State Park back in 1966 and returned to the park about 2 or 3 times during the 1960s. But I have not been back since the 60s, mainly because other parks have just been more convenient. The park is located just east of Panama City Beach, and Panama City Beach is perhaps the most popular of all of the resort towns along this coast. The campground has 176 sites organized into two major sections. It also has 5 very nice bathroom buildings. I have never visited the T.H. Stone Memorial St. Joseph Peninsula State Park, but it looks like it would be a great tent camping destination. It is a remote park that is located on a small peninsula that is across the bay directly west of Port St. Joe. It is also near Apalachicola Bay, which is famous for great oysters. The park has 119 small sites that are organized into 2 campgrounds. The Gulf Breeze campground is closer to the Gulf beaches, but the Shady Pines campground has more shade trees. I would imagine the Shady Pines campground would be better suited for tent camping. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this overview of the Alabama, Northwest Florida, Gulf Coast beaches, and I hope that you'll consider planning a camping trip down this way someday to see these beaches for yourself. For more information about great tent camping vacation destinations in the eastern United States, please visit my website, www.basictentcamping.com. Remember, take more trips, travel further, visit more attractions, and save money. Go tent camping.